if you try to extend your retightening interval beyond what your loctician who has assessed your hair has put you on, your locks will thin. Your locks will break. If they break, you would need to pay for repair. You see that money you're trying to save? I don't know whether it's money or time or convenience or whatever it is you're trying to achieve. You are going to end up spending money to get your hair repaired. You are going to end up having to sit to get it fixed. Wow, I'm just creating rhymes today. I don't know what's going on, but flow with me. So now let's talk about frequency of lock maintenance. Okay, the general rule is this: unless you are free forming or semi-free forming, okay, in which case this does not apply to you. The general rule is this: the smaller your locks are, the more frequently you need to maintain your locks. All right, so unless you have traditional locks, and by traditional locks I'm talking about lock counts that are generally 149 locks or less. In fact, most people will tell you traditional locks are generally 100 locks or less, okay, but definitely below 100 locks. If you have anything above 150, you cannot afford to be doing your lock maintenance 3 or 4 times a year. People who have traditional locks may get away with it, okay, so you may go like for a formal lock maintenance, maybe maximum 4, maybe 3 times a year, unless you're somebody who likes your locks always looking polished, in which case, okay, maybe once a month or once every 3 weeks you could just retwist your edges. Otherwise, you really don't have to be in your loctician's chair more frequently than 4 times in a year. All right, so basically every, let me say, 3 to 4 months you can get like a full head maintenance. But if you have anything more than 115 locks, particularly for those who have like sister lock range, I'm talking like 350 or more, the tinier your lock is, the more frequently you need to see your loctician. So those of you who come in insisting that you have to have a specific lock count because your lock guru has 517 locks, so you don't want anything less than 500 locks, I need you to understand that if that is what you want, that's fine, okay, but you also need to understand the things that go along with having that number of locks. If you get 350 or more, those really tiny locks that you want, understand that when your loctician puts you on a lock schedule, it is not optional, okay? You cannot insist on having 400 or more locks and then also insist that you will be coming in when you want to come in. It will end in premium tears. And it will not be a loctician crying, it will be you, in case you're wondering. Okay? So, ask yourself, if you are not somebody who likes sitting down for long to get her locks maintained, if you're not somebody who is ready to be doing the distance or booking appointments to get into your loctician's chair, or if you're a DIYer, if you're not somebody who is ready to be disciplined and keep yourself on a strict schedule of every 4 to 6 weeks, maybe tiny locks are not for you. Maybe micro locks are not for you. Maybe sister locks are not for you. You could still get that small lock look, particularly if you have full hair, by getting about this number, okay? So about 200-ish, definitely less than 300. That's a more manageable number so that you can stretch your reties out. But even with this number, I have never, not even during the peak of the pandemic, have I stretched out my my retie interval beyond 10 weeks. That's the furthest I've ever gone. If you are somebody who cannot be coming in frequently on a schedule to maintain, if you are somebody who doesn't want to be stuck or constrained to coming in every 4 to 6 or 8 weeks to maintain their hair, I would not, honestly, if you have anything above 200 locks, I would not advise you, all things being equal, I wouldn't advise you to go above 7 weeks, unless your hair grows really, really slowly, in which case, okay. I've seen people go as high as 11 weeks because their rate of growth is so slow. But bear in mind that your hair might grow slowly, but your grid will still get overgrown. And if your loctician is anything like me, because I take my time to reconstruct that grid, she or he will charge you. I would definitely charge you. So bear that in mind, okay? If that is not you, if you're not about that life, consider whether you want your locks that tiny. All right? The tinier your locks are, yes, the fuller your hair would be, but the more frequently you would have to maintain, and there is really no getting around it. All right? If you try to extend your retaining interval beyond what your loctician who has assessed your hair has put you on, your locks will thin. Your locks will break. If they break, you would need to pay for repair. You see that money you're trying to save? I don't know whether it's money or time or convenience or whatever it is you're trying to achieve. You are going to end up spending money to get your hair repaired. You are going to end up having to sit to get it fixed. Wow, I'm just creating rhymes today. I don't know what's going on, but you know, flow with me. But you get the general point. So if you're not somebody who likes to be stressed, you don't want to keep to a schedule, consider first of all, are locks for you? And if locks are for you, maybe you want to go with the traditional size locks, in which case, you know, you can even afford to like see your loctician just 3 times in a year, and your locks will be fine, you know. So these are all the things to keep in mind. And keep in mind that when you try to cut corners, most of the time it doesn't work. It doesn't work. You will eventually end up spending that time. You will eventually end up spending that money. So yeah. They say if you want to benefit yourself, you tell people what they want to hear. And if you want to benefit your clients, you tell them the truth. I'm telling you the truth. Do with it what you want. All right. Finally, we come to the very last point, and that is this. Every good consultation should either start or end with a proper hair assessment. In other words, because I know a lot of hair consultants or locticians offer consultations virtually. I know I do. I like to do that for the convenience of my clients because people are busy. Sometimes somebody wants to do an install with you. They don't necessarily live in the same town or city as you do. So that's something I offer to people, and then you can come in whenever you have the time for the installation, or we can come to you because we do offer home service. In case I haven't ever said that, I want to say that now. At All of My Locks, we do offer home service. So if that's something you're interested in, we offer home service. We'll come to you, of course, at an additional fee, and you will also, in addition to the home service fee, you would also then be responsible for the round-trip transportation as well. But for those of you who would like that option, we do offer the option. Just that, please, I would like to entreat anybody who is interested in pursuing this option. if we are going to come to you, please do make sure that there is a room available for the full duration of the time that we would need to install your hair. Please, it shouldn't be a car. And I hate that I have to say this, but experience has taught me that wherever it is that we're going to be doing your hair, if you are taking the home service option, should be a place where we can stand up to a full height, okay? And we should have at least 3 feet on either side of you. So in front of you, to your sides, and behind you, we should be able to move around freely, at least 3 feet, a 3 feet radius round about you. Please, I don't want to say more than that. All right, okay. But your consultation, like I was saying, should end with a thorough and proper assessment of your hair. Your consultant, let me speak for myself, okay? Let me not speak for anybody else. But your consultant, hair technician, or loctician, whatever you want to call the person, should assess your hair for the following parameters. One thing I always look for is I look for hair breakage. I've had clients who come in, sometimes they know, sometimes it's a medication that they are on, sometimes it's just a very bad hair braiding experience that they had, sometimes it's just fluctuating hormones. But some people tend to have very short hairs all over. Usually if it's from a bad braiding experience, it's usually concentrated in one. In fact, I've had somebody who, in addition to the short hairs, right, I think she did what is called packing gel in Nigeria. I don't know what they call it elsewhere, where they gel your hair down and then you have like a really long ponytail. Some people have short hairs, but some people, if it's a really bad experience, like this particular one I'm referencing, she actually had like a dime-sized bald patch right where the ponytail came out from. So what I like to do is to assess for, you know, short broken hairs. Sometimes they're concentrated in a particular place, sometimes it's all over. And if I find that it's concentrated in a particular place, or if I find like an actual bald patch, I like to document by taking pictures, because I tell people, you know, when people come to me and say, oh, my locks are not growing, my hair is not growing, I'm not seeing improvements in the with the breakage and with the bald patch, a picture is worth 1,000 words. You know, you can't argue with a picture. So what I try to do for my clients would tell you, every single client, day one installation, I would take pictures of your edges, from the front, from the back, the nape of your hair, or your kitchen, that's some people like to call it. If there are any short broken areas or bald patches, I will take pictures, just, you know, for documentation sake, just for record purposes, so that, you know, every time you come in for your maintenance, whether it's 4 or 6 weekly, whether it's every 3 months, we'll take pictures again in the exact same positions, so that, you know, you can actually see the progression. And so when people are saying, oh, my hair is not growing, I'm like, okay, let's go back and see what your hair looked like on installation day. And then they're like, oh, my hair has actually grown. Yeah, your hair has actually grown. But sometimes you don't notice because duh, it's growing from your hair, you know. So take pictures. I always encourage people to take pictures. That's one way to get a very objective sense of what your progression is, whether you're trying to grow your whole, you know, all your locks, all your hair, or whether it's that, oh, maybe you had issues with your edges and you're trying to monitor and see whether whatever treatment or whatever it is you're doing is actually working. So take lots of pictures, you know, and make it your practice. It is our practice at All My Locks. You know, every single maintenance we do, we take pictures and we send to the client, whether or not they ask for them. It's just a standard policy here, okay? And what that really tells your client, you know, as a loctician, what that really tells your client is that you're being as upfront, you're being as transparent as possible. Because what you don't want is to see short hairs or a bald patch and you don't say anything, and then after you've locked the hair, somewhere along the line, your client discovers it and is like, oh, I have a bald patch. And then you're telling them, oh no, it was there on the day of installation, and there's no evidence. Okay? So yes, for the sake of the client, just so that they actually have an objective way of tracking their project progress, and also for the sake of your own reputation as a loctician, take pictures. If you're being upfront and transparent, that's honestly the best policy. That's our policy, and it has worked for me. It has worked for me. I honestly feel like the loctician client relationship is, for many of us, it's a long-term relationship, and I don't think anybody wants to be in a relationship with somebody who is not upfront and honest and transparent with them. At least most normal people would appreciate some degree of honesty and transparency. So, I look through for short hairs, bald patches, breakage, thinning. I assess not just the curl type, the fineness, the density of the hair, because these are all the things that would then help me to advise or suggest, oh, this is a method you might be better off starting with for such and such and such and such and such a reason. There have been people whose hair I assess, and I told them, we won't be able, you wouldn't be able to get your hair locked today. I've had to put off installations, some people for 6 months. I've had somebody come in, I think after almost a year. By the time she came in, she had to remind me about her consultation. It had actually been that long, because not everybody is ready for locks. Sometimes they're not ready because their hair simply is not in a state that is ready to take locks. Okay? And sometimes they're not ready because mentally they're not in a space where they are ready for locks, especially when it gets to the awkward stage, or what is more commonly known as the ugly stage. So I never ever fix consultation and installation on the same day. I don't do it. Okay? What I could do, and what I've been known to do, is if a client comes in for a consultation and their hair is perfectly healthy, they are ready for locks, both mentally and in terms of the health of their hair, we could lay the foundation for the grid. Okay, we could wash the hair, prep the hair, lay the foundation for the grid, and then we'll do the installation the following day. But I would never do an installation. I don't think it has happened yet where I'll do a consultation and installation on the same day. It's just not good practice. It's just not what we do. Okay, so with that brings us to the end of this 4 or 6 part series on what you need to know before, if you're considering locks, or what you need to know before locking your hair. And essentially this has been me offering up all the content of what my consultations usually involve for free, essentially. And so what I'm going to ask you to do in return for this free and very useful information is, if you have still not liked this video, please go ahead and give it a thumbs up. If you're new to the tribe, subscribe, join the tribe by clicking on the subscribe button and then hitting the notification bell so that you're notified of each and every one of our videos. We typically post every Friday by 2 p.m. West African time, so please do look out for our videos. And until next time, stay blessed.